Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning, good morning. So nice to have you here. Tom, would you mind? Terry, would you mind? I'm sorry, that's Terry, not Tom. Mind moving over just a smidge? There you go. TT. All right, let me just sit down and get myself together here. So nice to come back and see you all. And I have to say, though, it's just a little chilly. We had a cold front that came through here, and today's Sunday, November 16th, and we had, I think it was Tuesday, we had 36 degrees, Wednesday was 41, Thursday was 46, and then Friday was 51. I don't remember what yesterday was, but those were cold days for us. And the days that it was in the 30s, my worms were in the living room. They, right inside my French doors. And I have just three worm bins. I have my can of worms, which is the 3-layer, and it's 3 tiers, and then you have a bottom well and a lid on top. And then the Jack and Jill are those oblong planters that I have that are on legs, and they need to come in. And they probably, I would guess they're probably close to 40 pounds because they're pretty full and pretty dense. They need to both be cleaned out. And the can of worms is probably at full capacity. It's probably close to 40 pounds, but it's awkward. So it took 2 of us to move them inside, but we're still just a little chilly. It's in the 50s. For those of you up north, that's not cold at all. You're maybe going out and going, oh, isn't this invigorating? And I have to say, it truly is. It's very invigorating. Makes your cheeks really feel alive. But for us, it means making sure the heater works because we use it so seldom. And I think we set it for 68, and I think it turned on the one morning that it was 41 degrees. The inside of the house was still toasty because remember, we have a lot of sun, so you get that ambient heat that keeps coming in throughout the night. And I think it got down to 67 in the house, so it kicked on to make it 68 real early, and then that was it. And anyway, so why am I here? Well, this is my 2025 goal. This is my 3rd year of doing this, and it's to collect. This is a self-made goal. Anybody who's following or would like to do it, make your own goal. If you have a bunch of people in the house and they're all working together, you can do more. There's 2 of us. We chose 2,000 pounds, not kilos or not anything else, but 2,000 pounds that we would save from going into a landfill, be it fruit and vegetable peels, be it coffee grounds, be it tea bags, eggshells. Eggshells are great grit. If you have a worm bin, they're great for your worms. If you have a stale cereal, if you want to throw it in. If you don't, then you can use your cardboard. Cardboard, shred it, makes a great worm food. It also adds to your compost pile. Even for people who are saying, well, I save my leaves and I use the leaves around my shrubs, it really packs them down. Excuse me, throw in some of your shred and mix it, and the 2 getting wet together will decompose each other. They'll help break it down. Any stale bread, any crackers, if you have things in your pantry that have gone stale, like your flour, believe it or not, flour really does go stale. If you've bought things like, say you bought a cake mix last year, or cookie mix, or whatever, if you have mixes, they have an expiration date on them. Just excuse me 1 minute. Sorry, it's only my second cup of. I drink mushroom coffee first, and that helps with my digestion. And then I allow myself to have a little Starbucks. Oh, and by the way, this only comes out at Christmas. Usually comes out right before Thanksgiving. Everybody's pushing the holidays, and it's called smoked butterscotch. It's still Arabica coffee, so it's still it's still a kick-ass coffee, and but it has just flavorings of I think it says brown sugar and smoky notes. And I keep calling it burnt butterscotch, and Rick keeps going, smoked. I don't care what they did before. It tastes good. So anyway, back to this. If you have things that are like your cake mix, cookie mix, anything, it has an expiration date on it. Look at it. It's really good. It's good to do those things in the grocery store, but I think most of us are just kind of, throw it in the bag, throw it in the basket, and be on our way. But if you realize, oh, gee, this is supposed to expire July of 24, then you go, oh, wait, this probably isn't going to work. Because things that have baking soda, baking powder in them, they do get old. We had a hurricane once, and I decided to make a cake afterwards, and the cake just flopped. And it could have been, barometric pressure in the area in the air, but it was also because it was old. It just never made it. So keep those things in mind. If you're a coffee drinker and you stop at the coffee shops, instead of just tossing the cup, think about what you could do with it to recycle it. Either bring it home if you have recycling for paper. If you have worms, you could give it to the worms. If you have compost, you can give it to the compost. Coffee cups now have like a cellophane lining in them that keeps them from disintegrating while you're having it. Or if you left your coffee in the car overnight and you came back, if it was just cardboard, it would probably be kind of messy. But nowadays, they're built stronger. I save my can wrappers, the steel cans, which, by the way, steel can be used over and over and over and over again. So if you have steel cans, don't throw them in the trash. Put them in your recycling. That isn't part of my weight, but the papers that come off of them are. On the paper side, on the carbon side for what you're going to add, we save our electronics, those cardboard. It can be broken down and put into worms, compost, the soil in any way. If you have Kleenex, paper towels, our friend Sandra over at Nana's Worms and Garden always says, worms love snot. I don't know how she knows this, but she has her doctorate in biology, so she must. Toilet paper, paper towels, your leaves, of course. I don't know if you can see those, but those are Drake elm leaves, and they're real tiny, and the lichen in them is very low, so they break down lickety-split. I'm trying to think of anything else that I have that I haven't said to you. Things like shrimp shells. If you go out for dinner and you say, oh, gee, we had shrimp and, here's all the shells. And, I wonder, it became fashionable when I was growing up. We went out to dinner very seldom, but when we did, if there was anything, we took it home for the dog. we had a dog, so we were legit and saying, could we have a little doggy bag? And they would bring out like a little bag like this, and you'd take maybe your napkin and put it inside, because it was just a paper, and maybe it was scraps of fat from the steak, or I can't think of anything else we would have taken to the veal chop or something that you'd have at a nice dinner, because you got a good report card, or because it was somebody's birthday, not just because it was mom didn't feel like cooking. But anyway, wouldn't it be cool to have, instead of a doggy bag, could I have a wormy bag? People would go, what? And you would say, well, I raise worms. Would you mind if I took home the biscuits? My worms would eat it. Would you mind if I took home the things from my plate? Oh, my worms would eat it. And they would bring out a styrofoam container. I can't stand it, but anyway, I think we should start a new trend, a wormy bag. Keep that in mind. Any of your flowers, if you get flowers, you can chop those up and they can go back into the soil. I think I've told you everything else. Cork. Do you get wine bottles? The cork came from a cork tree. If it came from a tree, it can go back into the earth and it will break down. Popsicle sticks are balsa wood, I think. All sorts of things. When we sweep our floors, we put it into our worm bin. When we take our dryer lint out of our screen, every time, remember that, every time, that goes into the worm bin. And so there's just so many things. And occasionally, very seldom does anybody ask me why I do this. They all just go, oh, you're doing a great job. I ask myself weekly. Yesterday I was just getting ready to take a shower and I thought, I forgot to sweep the elm leaves up this morning. Doggone. Well, does it matter? Well, the wind's going to blow them away, which is fine. It would go, back to the earth in some fashion. But a lot of it goes down our drains. And so I threw my old clothes back on because I've been decorating for Christmas. Threw my old clothes back on and I went out and I swept everything and raked. And I got just over 3 pounds of elm leaves. So that's 3 pounds towards my 2,000 goal. But I have written a list, and I wrote this like 3 years ago. I should rewrite it. Some people write little things and leave it on their mirror, but I have it here because I see it all the time. And my reasons for doing this are, the main reason is to lessen the trash, to improve my soil, to grow more organically, because occasionally I still have to use something that is considered a chemical, to make myself more self-sufficient, because I didn't need to buy the chemicals, because I didn't need to buy the bags of soil. To make, if I'm growing something, to make them more nutrient dense and to avoid chemicals. So those are my reasons. If you choose to do this, come up with your own reasons. Terry, suck it in there, boy. Today is the end of week 47, so we have completed 46 weeks. I think that's darn good. We've only got 6 weeks left. It actually ends up being like 6 weeks. We have 52 weeks, and then we have 4 days. So, it's kind of a little extra. I don't remember if we only had 3 days. I could look it up, but it doesn't matter. And I keep it weekly. I keep writing down what I have each day, and then I tally it up, and it keeps me regular, like prunes. It keeps me regular in a different way. So I have a couple things to report, and that is that today, this past week, I did 44 pounds 44 pounds, 1.1 ounce. And I did have 1,784 and change, and now I have 1,828 pounds, 10.7 ounces. So, I still need another 172 pounds to get to that 2,000. I've been keeping track of my elm leaves because last year we were supposed to go on vacation, and between trying to go on vacation and then we had a hurricane, I got 101 pounds of elm leaves. And I thought, well, I bet this year I bet I could do that in a blink. And, if we don't have a hurricane. Now, we did have a storm a few days ago, and I felt bad because I knew it was coming, and I didn't feel good that day, and I stayed inside the house because it was cold and what have you. Well, not only was it cold and rainy, but it was also really windy. And I said to Rick, boy, I bet there's a ton of leaves out there. And he said, no, actually, they all blew away. So anyway, I'm back at it. And I've got my another list. And so far, I have 84 pounds, 14.6 ounces. So I have no doubt that this year's goal of 100 will be completed probably by the end of November. So what I will make, I don't care. This one isn't a goal of any sort. It's just I think that tree has a good 150 pounds of, you look at the trees, and it's just to be able to say to people as they're walking by and going, well, that's quite a job you got there, little lady. Or, boy, when you're done with that, you can come to my house and rake the leaves. And then I say, well, I compost. And they go, oh, that's nice. Or I've had people stop and ask. I had a lady last week stop and ask me. She said, you are going to compost those, aren't you? I don't know who she is. And I said, as a matter of fact, I am. I raise worms. And she went, oh, okay. It was like she was preaching to the choir. And so we had a little chat, and I said, yes, I do. I have worms, and I also have compost. And she had moringa trees, so we had a little chat about that. And it was nice to talk to somebody who actually spoke the language, and it's not just speaking to a screen. So anyway, okay, so you know where I am on that. I'm up to 1828. That was that. I want to say that the person I forgot to mention last week was Allie from My Rusty Garden. She has a great channel. She's out in Vancouver, and she and her husband Gerald, they're big gardeners. They built a greenhouse, and they have kind of outside areas and inside areas, and both retired, and they have time to devote to their hobby of gardening big time. And her guess, remember 2,000 is my goal, her guess was 2,025 pounds. And so I think she's the only added one. And I have told you who everyone is. Susan at Casimad House, 1945. Joe's Outdoor Places, 1955. Trekking with Deb and Mike, 2001. Barbie Daly, Brew a Life in the Valley is 2011. Sandra, Nana's Worms and Garden is 2020. R&W Farmstead, Tony Walsh said 2042. Then My Rusty Garden is 2025. And then we have Gardening with Barchuck, and he thought I would get 2,205. And Juani's Garden, 5356, said I would do 25. Not unless the tree falls down and I have to chip it. So I don't know if you all thought that the little contest or whatever you want to call that is over. If anybody else is out there and they're listening to this and they go, well, I think she'll do, put it in the comments. Let me know what it is. I promise I'll put it down and I will mention your name. I'm not going to mention names every week. I think that gets a little old for people. But most of you know each other. And if you don't, you should, because I only pick good people. And I only allow good people to watch me. Occasionally I've had some people who were a little off the mark, and I think they kind of, I think I've had a few people who wanted to hustle me, and I kind of go, whoa, I don't think so. And so it's always good to be careful out there as to who you are. But for the folks that I mentioned, those are real stellar people. I mean, you know, if I was standing at the pearly gates and it was St. Peter and only one of us could get in, I'd be worried about my chances, because they're really good people. So I hope everybody, I forgot to mention, clothes. That's, you know, if you have stuff that you wanted to chop up and put into your, either the base of a pot to keep the soil from running out, or if you wanted to put into, you know, like you're digging a hole for something, you can stick your old, I cut these up for socks, and I washed them first, which Rick thought was hysterical, because he said, if Sandra says worms will eat snot, do you think that worms aren't going to eat your sweaty, soiled socks that you brought in? I said, yeah, I know, but since I'm keeping them, you know, like here, I'd rather know that I had clean socks that I was showing somebody rather than my dirty, sweaty socks. So those are clean, and the t-shirt was clean. And I know somebody's going to be out there and say, yeah, but you know that laundry detergent, that's not good for your skin, so it might hurt your worms. I can only do what I can do. Anyway, I've made this too long. I hope you all have a great day. Remember, Thanksgiving is coming up. Oh, that was one other thing that Terry wanted me to mention, and that is, if you are carnivorous, if you are going to have a turkey and eat one of his brothers or one of his cousins, please use it wisely. If you have a carcass of any sort, even if it's just the breastbone, break it down, put it in a pot, add some water and seasonings to it, and you'll have great broth. If you have a pressure cooker, or you have, I have a crock pot, I will cook mine for a couple days on low, and well, maybe not a couple days, but you know, a good long time, and I really get a lot of that bone broth out of it. And then we drink that almost like you would drink a tea, and get those nutrients, especially now that it's getting to be cold and that you need that for your throat. Add a little sage to it, add some celery seed, add some turmeric, paprika, all the garlic, all the good things, cook an onion with it, all the things that make us healthy during the winter months. So with that, I will say I hope everybody stays nice and warm. This is my snuggie sweater that's really long, but you know, it has ventilation. So, you know, in Florida we have clothes that are 20 and 30 years old because we only wear them for a week at a time. Take care, everybody. I think of you all. I pray for you all. And remember, garden what you've got. See you real soon. Bye-bye.